Hi there, it's Lucas here with YOGABODY and the Yoga Teachers College, and today we're going to talk about push-ups, the most hated pose in any yoga class. Here's the thing, when I first started doing yoga, my teachers actually discouraged me from doing push-ups. They said, that's not yoga, it's too much like fitness. Here's the reality, push-ups are excellent training for half push-up, like a Chaturanga pose, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and every single arm balance pose, whether we're talking about handstand, forearm stand, crane, even headstand, push-up training, there is nothing that I've ever found that's more effective. In a yoga class, we approximate push-ups, but just to sometimes do push-ups in the middle of a class or to supplement your practice as a strength practice is extremely effective. When you're new to it, it can feel so overwhelming that people just skip it, but as long as you practice properly, you can build strength very quickly. Couple of things to remember. The first thing with push-ups is never use your knees. I know this is taught on all the websites, fitness classes, yoga classes, Pilates. Don't use your knees ever. Here's what happens. If you use your knees, you'll never get off your knees. You'll never build the strength. It's a completely different pose with your knees on the ground. It becomes this leverage pose rather than an actual press-up. And the strength moves, instead of in your arms, it moves down, and it's really just kind of a core stabilization pose. Not a bad pose, but a completely different pose. So rule number one, no knees, not now, not ever. If you can't bend all the way down, you just bend a little bit. I don't care if you just barely bend your elbows and straighten them back up, that's a push-up. Knees on the floor is not a push-up. It will not help you progress. I know it's commonly taught. Trust me, it's not helpful. Skip it. Rule number two is when we're in the plank position preparing for a push-up pose, we want to come way out over our hands so we bend our elbows at a 90-degree angle. Rule number three is we want to spread our fingers really wide, always looking for our arches and domes. When you get arches and domes, you're able to access all of the musculature of your forearm, your upper arm, your back, even your middle back and your core much more effectively. Last but not least, we exhale down, we inhale up. So let me show you what it looks like. All different levels are fine. The key thing with a push-up is we go down and we come back up. If you go all the way down, we'll touch our chest to the floor. If you don't, maybe you just barely bend your elbows and come back up. That's totally fine. You will build strength quickly if you just grit your teeth and practice it. Don't grit them literally, just figuratively. So I come into a plank pose. My feet as wide as my hips, my fingers spread wide. I'm finding arches and domes with my hands, so my hands are strong. I'm going to turn my elbow eyes to face forward so that when my elbows bend, they bend backwards towards my toes. And now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come on the tips of my toes, so I'm leaning way out over my body. I'm going to bend my elbows just a little bit on an exhale, and then I'm going to inhale up. So that's a good baby push-up. This time I'm going to go all the way down and touch my chest, and then I'm going to inhale all the way back up. I'm going to exhale all the way down and inhale back up. What most people's push-ups look like is something like this. We have knees collapsing, bums up in the air, elbows splaying out to the side. I would rather have you go less far, but keep the form solid, than try to approximate any kind of super deep push-up. What we're trying to do here is build strength, build balance in our upper body, which just doesn't get worked very much. If you're working with push-ups, I would encourage you to push up till failure. That means do as many as you can till you stop, and repeat that 3 times a day. When you first get started, it might be 3 push-ups, you fail, you do 3 sets, call it a day. As time moves on, you'll get up to 10, 20, 30, even 50 push-ups in a set, and you can do those 3 times per day. It'll really help you build strength. As part of your practice competency for Yoga Teachers College, we need you to do 10 clean push-ups. You can do it, you can learn it, you gotta practice. Questions and comments, post them down below. Get to work, we'll talk to you soon.